हेलो मैडम।
हाँ बोला नेताजी सर.
काय नाही, ठीक आहे. बाकीच्यांना मी ऍक्च्युली हेच पाठवलेलं. लाईव्ह झालं युट्यूबला?
लाईव्ह सुरू झालेलं आहे, नंतर बोला माझे.
ठीक आहे, ठीक आहे. हॅलो मॅडम.
हा हॅलो, बोला नेताजी सर.
नाही, इट्स ओके मॅडम.
हा बोला नेताजी सर.
काय नाही, ठीक आहे. बाकीच्यांना मी ऍक्च्युली हेच पाठवलेलं. लाईव्ह झालं युट्यूबला?
लाईव्ह सुरू झालेलं आहे, नंतर बोला.
हॅलो मॅडम.
हा
प्ले झालं YouTube प्ले झालं.
The world is full of diamonds and gems, and we are having some of them here with us today to make this event interesting. With this note, I would like to offer my heartiest welcome to my esteemed dignitaries on the dais, colleagues and conscious contributors in the sports and education sector, dear students, ladies and gentlemen, very good morning to all. I find immense pleasure to welcome you all for the today's interactive virtual panel discussion on behalf of Bharati Vidyapeeth deemed to be University and Team Spirit. In past couple of years, the world has witnessed the beset of COVID-19 pandemic disaster. We are still reeling from adverse consequences, and hence we have organized this panel discussion in virtual mode. We need your support to make this event successful. The highly experienced experts chairing the panel discussion on the topic sports and physical activity is medicine for non-communicable diseases. And experts will enlighten the relationship between health and promotion of physical activity in the context of eliminating the non-communicable diseases. Perhaps we can make a start with the short virtual inaugural ceremony. Now I request Dr. Manikrao Saunke, Vice Chancellor, Bharati Vidyapeeth deemed to be University, Dr. S.F. Patil Sir, Executive Director, Bharati Vidyapeeth deemed to be University, speakers, panelists, colleagues, and dear students to join us for the inaugural ceremony. Bharati Vidyapeeth.
चालू आहे का तिथे? म्हणजे तुम्ही सांगा. शासन वगैरे आता काही घालू नका नेट वय मनासर जेवढेच लिहायचं कुणाची नियमाप्रमाणे आपण आपला अधिकार ठेवायचा. हा हा पर्यंत हा हा
आपला आवाज चालू होता.
I request Dr. Manikrao Saranke, Vice Chancellor of Bharati Vidyapeeth deemed to be University, Dr. S.F. Patil Sir, Executive Director, Bharati Vidyapeeth deemed to be University, speakers, panelists, colleagues, dear students to join us for this inaugural ceremony. Bharati Vidyapeeth deemed to be University is one of the most prestigious university in India, established by Honorable Dr. Patanrauji Kadam Sahib in 1964 with a vision of social transformation through dynamic education. This university is also advanced and flourished to the next level by our patrons, Honorable Professor Dr. Shivaji Rao Kadam, Chancellor Bharati Vidyapeeth deemed to be University, Honorable Dr. Vishwajit Kadam, the Secretary Bharati Vidyapeeth, and Pro Vice Chancellor Bharati Vidyapeeth deemed to be University, Honorable Dr. Asmita Tai Jagtap, Executive Director Bharati Vidyapeeth Medical Foundation. This momentous project, SPIRIT, abbreviated form of Sports and Physical Education as a vehicle for inclusion and recognition in India, Indonesia, and Sri Lanka. This project is in collaboration with universities from Lisbon, Cyprus, Portugal, Spain, India, Indonesia, and Sri Lanka. Project is the consortium and co-funded by Erasmus Plus program of the European Union to reinforce the resolute goal. The main goal of Project SPIRIT is to create a modular program in a sports and health sciences in 3 countries of Asia that contribute to increase the recognition of fundamental values of sports and physical activity for the individual and society well beyond the competitions. According to World Health Organization, regular physical activity has various benefits for psychophysical health. The human body needs a specific level of physical activity to maintain good health. In this background, today's panel discussion is for the understanding of physical activity and participation in the physical activity as a preventive measure against different non-communicable diseases. And therefore, we focus on today's apt theme, sports and physical activity is a medicine for non-communicable diseases. The event is divided into 2 panels. The discussion of panel 1 will be for 1 hour and panel 2 for 1.5 hours. With the 10 minutes, quick break in between 2 panel discussion. Sub-theme for each panel is Role of sports nutrition and exercise in non-communicable diseases, inclusion of physical literacy and physical education in school and college curriculum will be discussed. The panelists include experts on sports and nutrition who will enlighten the audience with the benefits of good health and physical activities. I wish everyone a very beneficial and helpful panel discussion ahead. I now request Honorable Manikara Sarunke, Vice Chancellor Bharati Vidyapeeth deemed to be University, to initiate this significant event. Dr. Sarunke has the expertise of serving as a dynamic and visionary leader in various reputed universities as a Vice Chancellor. As the Vice Chancellor of Central University, Open University Nasik, Symbiosis University of Applied Science Indore, he established a strong academic foundation. He undertook many reforms in various fields during his tenure as Vice Chancellor of Shivaji University. He has made many valuable contributions in area of research interest. He also has been honored by many academic distinctions. Without taking any further time, I request Dr. Manikrao Sarunke to commence this event with his opening remark.
Very good morning to you all distinguished national coordinators and project heads of partner universities from India, Indonesia, and Sri Lanka. Keynote speaker, Professor S.H. Pathi, Executive Director, International Affairs Research and Training, Dr. Lieutenant Colonel Dr. S.S. Rao, our panelist, Dr. Kirti Mahajan, Project Head Spirit Project from Bharati Vidyapeeth, Dr. Jadhav, friends, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I extend warm welcome to all the eminent panelist participants of partner institutions from India, Indonesia, and Sri Lanka for virtual panel discussion on sports, physical activities for non-communicable diseases organized by Bharati Vidyapeeth deemed to be University, Pune, under the Spirit Project co-founded by Erasmus Plus program of European Union. I would like to express my sincere thanks to the European Commission for giving an opportunity by signing an MOU with European Union Spirit partners, which aimed at the capacity building in the field of sports, physiotherapy, and physical education through research and community development. The project is given to a consortium of 11 universities to research sports education in India, Sri Lanka, and Indonesia under Erasmus Plus project. I am happy to mention that we are one of these 11 universities. Bharati Vidyapeeth Pune, the parent organization of Bharati Vidyapeeth, deemed to be university, established by our beloved founder, Chancellor, Honorable Dr. Patangrao Kadam Sahab, with a vision of social transformation through dynamic education. Bharati Vidyapeeth is now one of the largest educational organizations in the country, imparting education from pre-primary to doctorate level to the students belonging to the rural and urban areas. Dr. Shivaji Rao Kadam, the present Honorable Chancellor, and Dr. Vishwajit Kadam, Honorable Secretary of Bharati Vidyapeeth Pune, both are leading the university from University following the footsteps of Honorable Sahab. Our university is multi-campus, multidisciplinary university which has ranked 68 national level consistently top 100 universities in India for last 5 years with A+ grade by NAC and category 1 status by University Grants Commission. The university is known for interdisciplinary research that is possible due to constituent units such as medical college, dental college, Ayurvedic college, homeopathic college, pharmacy college, School of Audiology and Speech Language Pathology, along with colleges of all other disciplines. In order to have multidisciplinary research, the university has established research initiatives, institutes interactive research school of health affairs. This is one of the unique examples in private university sector. We all are aware that there is a huge burden of non-communicable diseases in low-income countries as well as in middle-income countries. As per the survey of World Health Organization, more than 65% deaths were estimated due to the prolonged disease such as cardiovascular disease, cancer, chronic respiratory diseases, and diabetics. More than 80% of these deaths occurred in low-income and middle-income countries. Non-communicable diseases have negative impact on individuals and family economic production and well-being. These diseases also have the potential to significantly undermine national and microeconomic development. The reason is very evident that in most of the countries of Southeast Asia, the social structure is highly skewed in terms of economic and social power opportunities. For national development, greater emphasis needs to be placed on the development of the weaker sections of the society. Indian experience shows that a substantially large part of the weaker section of the society suffers from social limitations and less from economic limitations. It is widely agreed that even among weaker sections, individuals with extraordinary intellectual capacities and imagination are in search of proper environment whereby they can also reach the highest level of excellence. Identification of non-intellectual abilities like sports potential and potential in the field of fine and performing arts is also necessary. It is a general experience that youth belonging to the weaker section exhibit greater endurance capacities, can inadequate food and non-food intake along with medical supervision are ensured due excellent performance in sports, particularly with endurance, stamina, prevalence, and grit are specially required. In most parts of the country, talent in the field of fine and performing arts conventionally nursed and nurtured in certain weaker sections of the society. Such abilities needs to be identified and given all possible encouragement along with material assistance to the fuller expression. Friends, I have discussed all these things. The reason of this is the project is for empowerment and empowerment of weaker sections. Friends, I believe all panel members will discuss some innovative ideas for sports as a vehicle for inclusion. But now, here I would like to discuss about identification of non-communicable abilities like sports potential and potential in the field of other areas. It is general experience that you belonging to weaker section, as I have mentioned, they have greater endurance. In most of the part of the country, now I will discuss about the theme of panel discussion. It will not be possible to reduce the burden of chronic non-communicable diseases without equitable access to essential medicines. Access to appropriate medicine for treating non-communicable diseases is crucial for both populations. The use of non-communicable diseases medicines for addressing, I will use henceforth the word NCD, non-communicable diseases burden, represent a major intervention technology by itself and is critical component of diagnostic, investigatory, treatment follow-up and monitoring system. NCD medicines are essential component of the treatment of cardiovascular diseases, diabetics, chronic respiratory diseases, many cancers, mental and neurological disorders. These disorders are very common all over the world. 14% of global burden of disease is attributed to these disorders. Despite the prevalence and burden of these disorders, large proportion of people with such problem do not receive treatment and care. Medicines are essential in primary and secondary preventions of non-communicable diseases. It is estimated that appropriate use of medicine alone can reduce 80% burden of non-communicable diseases in many countries. Role of medicines in addressing the burden of major NCDs, availability and accessibility of these medicines continue to face challenge in many regions, especially in public sector of health sector. I hope the panelists will deliberate their views and ideas on sports and physical activity is a medicine for non-communicable disease. I will end my talk with a famous quote by Holly Holm, "The fashion first and everything will fall into place." Thank you all. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable input. And it is indeed pleasure to listen you always. Let us move on the next speaker of the day. I would now request Dr. S.A. Patil, the Executive Director and Head of International Affairs, Research and Training, for his keynote speech. Of knowledge in various fields, he has served as a president of Maharashtra Arogya Mandal Pune. He has also held prestigious position as a president in Association of Indian University Delhi, Association of Nuclear Chemists and Allied Scientists, and Vice Chancellor in many universities like Singhania University, Rajasthan, North Maharashtra University, Jalgaon. He is also reputed chairperson and member of many national and international institutes and committees. He is the recipient of Jeevan Sadhana Gaurav Puraskar, Rashtra Shakti Award, Samaj Bhushan Award. Without taking any further time, welcome to Dr. S.A. Patil.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kirti Mahajan. Honorable Dr. Manisha Saranke, Vice Chancellor of the University. Dr. Kirti Mahajan, Project Head, Spirit, and Moderator of the panel discussion. Dr. Gauravan, distinguished members of the panel, and my dear participants. Let me express my gratitude towards the organizer for giving this opportunity to speak on the topic of very important at the national level and international level too. I must confess that I am not at all an expert in this area, but probably I will enlighten you, giving the statistical figures, how serious the impact of NCDs in the overall pattern of the living in the entire world. Friends, as you all know, that non-communicable diseases such as heart disease, stroke, cancer, chronic respiratory diseases, diabetics are the leading cause of mortality in the world. This invisible epidemic is an underappreciated cause of poverty and hinders the economic development of many countries. The burden is growing, number of people, families and communities afflicted is increasing. Let me keep before you some of the key facts of NCD. The non-communicable diseases kill 41 million people globally each year, equivalent to 70% of all the deaths which are occurring at the global level. Each year, more than 15 million people die from NCD between the ages of 30 to 69 years, which contributes 85% of this premature death occur in the low and middle income countries. It is further reported that 71% of the NCD deaths are in the low and middle income countries. The cardiovascular diseases accounts for the most of the NCD deaths. You will be surprised that every year 17.9 million people die annually in the world. Further, the cancer also kills about 9.3 million deaths, while the 4.0 million deaths occur due to the respiratory diseases. Number of deaths due to diabetics is 1.5 million at the global level. You will notice from all above the four groups of diseases, account 80% of the total deaths, premature deaths which are occurring in the world. Further, it is well established that the use of tobacco, physical inactivity, the harmful use of alcohol, unhealthy diets are responsible for increasing the risk of dying due to the NCD. NCDs are the major challenges for public health in the 21st century, not only in terms of human suffering they cause, but also affect the socio-economic development of the country. According to the World Health Organization predictions, the total annual number of deaths due to NCDs will increase to 55 million by 2030 if timely interventions are not being done for prevention of and control of NCDs. As per the Inter scenario is concerned, the nearly 5.8 million people, as per WHO report of 2015, die from NCDs every year. In other words, 1 in 4 Indians has a risk of dying from the NCD before they reach the age of 70. Another report, according to the another report, which is entitled as India, Health of the Nation States, prepared by Minister of Health and Human Welfare, Government of India, there is an increase in the contribution of NCDs from 30% of the total disease burden in 1990 to 55% in 2016. It is mentioned an increase of proportion of death due to NCDs from 37% in 1990 to 61% in 2016. As per WHO estimate, 1.13 billion people worldwide have hypertension, most of them living in low and middle income countries. The prevalence of hypertension in India is about 29.9%. It is also found that in urban areas, this proportion of prevalence is 33.8%, while in rural areas, it is 26.6%. On the whole, NCDs are rapidly increasing globally and reach epidemic proportions in many countries, largely due to the globalization, industrialization, and rapid urbanization and demographic and lifestyle changes. Regular physical activities helps to prevent and treat non-communicable diseases. It also helps to prevent hypertension, overweight, and obesity, and can improve mental health, quality of life, and well-being. All forms of physical activities such as walking, cycling, sports, and active forms of recreation can provide health benefits if undertaken regularly and is of sufficient duration and intensity. In the current situation, global progress to increase the physical activity has been slow, largely due to the lack of awareness and the investment. Worldwide, 1 in 4 adults and 3 in 4 adolescents do not currently meet the global recommendations of physical activity set by WHO. As countries develop economically, levels of inactivity increase. In some countries, the levels of inactivity can be as high as 70%, due to the changing patterns of transportation, increased use of technology and urbanization. It is worth mentioning that globally women are less active compared to the men, and activity declines in older age in most countries. Also, poorer people, people with disabilities and chronic diseases, marginalized population, and indigenous people have fewer opportunities to be active. In 2018, the global cost of physical activity was estimated to be $54 billion per year in a direct healthcare, with an additional of $14 billion attributed to the loss of productivity. Inactivity accounts to 1 to 3% of national healthcare costs associated with the excluding the costs associated with the mental health. The physical inactivity is one of the leading risk factors for the various non-communicable diseases, injuries, and premature death worldwide. To individuals who are not sufficiently physically active, risk of having cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, and cancer is 20 to 30% more compared to the people who are sufficiently active. Physical activity also shortens the lifespan by 3 to 4 years. 1.4 billion worldwide do not meet the World Health Organization recommendation of 150 minutes of moderate intensity physical activity per week to benefit from reduced risk of non-communicable diseases and improve their health and well-being. Friends, it is well established that sports and physical activity is a catalyst for a good health and well-being. To maintain good health, human biology needs a specific level of physical activity. The less physical inactivity adapted to human biology would take a long period for biological evolution. The requirements of physical activity are the same as 4 lakh years ago for the people living today. Recommended levels of physical activity can be achieved while performing normal daily routine, particularly called as active living. Active living may include recreational activities and sports, or it may be even as simple as moving around the bike, walking by all walks to the work, or even to the bus stop. In large part, prevention, management, and reversal of risk factors can be achieved through leading healthier lifestyles. The importance of healthy lifestyle to non-communicable diseases, prevention and management is already well established through several studies. In fact, number of healthcare professionals report NCDs as lifestyle-related diseases. However, much work needs to be actually done to improve the pattern at the global level. Most importantly, pattern of physical activity and healthy lifestyles acquired during the childhood and adolescence are more likely to be maintained throughout the lifespan. Consequently, improving physical activity levels in young people is imperative for the future health of world population. It is obvious from the above statistics that a lot of work needs to be done to reduce the impact of LCD. Let me end my presentation with the message. Let's be active, everyone, everywhere, every day. Thanks for your patience, Terry. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your inspiring speech. The immense inputs and knowledge shared by you will surely benefit one and all. Thank you very much. Next session will be conducted by the panelists on the same topic, role of sports, nutrition, and exercise in non-communicable diseases. I would like to introduce myself as the first panelist moderator. My name is Dr. Kirti Mahajan, Project Head and Director, International Relations, Bharati Vidyapeeth, deemed to be University. Let me also introduce the member of the first panel, Dr. Netaji Jadhav, the Director of Sports and Physical Education, Bharati Vidyapeeth, deemed to be University. He has rich experience in the field of sports, various medals at national level on his credit. Our second panelist, Lieutenant Colonel Dr. S. Indian Army, serving for past 32 years and the international weightlifting coach. From Indian Army, who has also represented as a player and sport participant in Army services at national level. and won gold and silver medals. Our third panelist, Dr. Gitanjali Bide, Secretary of Association of Sports, Nutrition and Fitness Science. She is the sports and fitness nutritionist. Our fourth panelist of the panel discussion, Dr. Sachin Lakde, MBBS, MD General Medicine, DNB Cardiology, who is the cardiologist for past 16 years. He will enlighten the discussion with his precious inputs on prevention of lifestyle-related diseases through sports, exercise, and nutrition. Now, over to Dr. S. Srinivasa Rao. With your rich experience, I would like to initiate this discussion with you, sir. We all like to hear from you that what are the biggest barriers in the exercise and sports in general in Indian context?
Good morning to everyone, and especially thanks to Dr. Kirti Mahajan, the orator, and thanks to the Bharatiya Vidyapeeth giving this opportunity to speak on this occasion, and the panel, and especially the panelists and everyone. Good morning, sir. The role of sports and nutrition and exercise in the non-communication diseases, there are the biggest barriers in the human life, or there are some are the personal barriers, some are the social barriers, some are the psychological and physiological barriers. What I mean to say is the barriers for the physical fitness and sports activities, the most of the barriers for these are human life to prevent non-communication diseases in personals are like insufficient time. First of all, human being doesn't have a time to do the physical fitness in his life. Second is energy level and motivation level. Moreover, the self-motivation levels are low into the our Indian society, especially middle and low class people, and the confidence level of the each individual, and mostly the lack of motivational skills and lack of encouragement, support from the family, from the society, from the friends. These are the major personal barriers for which are obstacles for the sports fitness which can control the non-communicational diseases. Madam, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Let's move to the next panelist for next question, Dr. Netaji Zadav. Sir, we know everyone has to understand the meaning, needs, and importance of fitness. And we know fitness is the right of common man. We like to hear your opinion on this. And would you like to add anything more to our ideas here?
Good morning, all of you. Today here we are here for the panel discussion on the topic of role of sport, nutrition, and exercise in non-communicable diseases. Dr. Rao has explained very nicely the barriers in India for sports and exercise activities. I think there is also a barrier that lack of knowledge is a barrier for the sports activities, because everybody want to do the fitness for good health, for a well-being, but so many people don't know what is fitness and how to improve the fitness. So first of all, we will understand that what is fitness. Many people do the walking or running, or some people are doing exercise like weight training exercise, but they don't know that only walking or only yoga, it is not fitness. Generally, everybody know about the fitness in general, but scientifically, what is fitness? Fitness is not a single component. It is a sum of 5 motor abilities, and they are strength, endurance, flexibility, neuromuscular coordination, and speed. These are 5 fitness components. If you want your fitness, you have to improve all these 5 abilities. But why? What is endurance? So endurance is ability to perform any physical activity for prolonged period without any fatigue. So here the aim of every individual is different to for the fitness. Like an athlete does the fitness to achieve the highest performance in that particular game in which he is participating at state, national, or international level. But for common man, why we need endurance? Why we need strength? Why we need flexibility? So it is very, very important. Endurance, there are mainly two types of endurance: cardiovascular endurance and muscle endurance. So what is cardiovascular endurance? Cardiovascular endurance, here are two systems. But before this cardiovascular endurance, I would like to tell you that how our body functions. For each and every activity, we need energy. Now I am talking with you, or if I do running, I am jogging, throwing, lifting. For each and every movement, we need energy. And this energy comes from food. After digestion, food is converted into protein, fat, and carbohydrate, and carbohydrate is converted to glucose, and glucose is our main energy source. Glucose is burned for energy, but glucose burns with oxygen, and we need oxygen for energy production. And to supply oxygen for 24/7, it is a work of our cardiovascular system. Means there are two systems: respiratory system and circulatory systems. And endurance of this system, that is cardiovascular endurance. Means it is ability of our cardiovascular system to provide oxygenated blood to whole body for long period, for 24 hours without any fatigue. That is our cardiovascular endurance. And if you want to improve your cardiovascular endurance, you need to do the aerobic activities. There are so many aerobic activities, but I would like to tell some examples like running, jogging, some calisthenic exercise, cycling, cross trainer if you are doing in gym. So if I ask anybody to do the running, so many people thought that running is only for fat loss. No, it is not only fat loss. If you want to improve your cardiac health, if you want your heart a very good, strong heart, and if you want to avoid all these lifestyle related disease, you have to do the cardio exercise, means aerobic exercise, and they are cycling, running, jogging, elliptical cross trainer, and there are so many activities. So our first fitness component, it is very, very important that cardio exercise, aerobic exercise for improve your cardiovascular health. Second is strength. Strength, it is ability to overcome or act against resistance. Strength means you all the pulling, pushing, lifting, and throwing. For all these movements, you need strength. But if you want to improve the strength, you have to do the resistance training. If I ask anybody to do the resistance training, weight training, he says me to that, I don't want to become a wrestler. Like cardio exercise, if I ask to do cardio, he said that I don't want to lose weight. If I ask anybody to do the resistance training, he asked me that I don't want to become a wrestler or don't want to become a bodybuilder. I want only fitness. But fitness is not a single component. It is a sum of 5 motor abilities. First, we have seen the endurance, and second is strength. For all these moments in our daily life, there are so many activities. Athlete need the fitness for his performance, but for common man, there are so many activities in our daily life, from lifting bag, throwing, for pushing, pulling, and to ride your heavy bike. There are so many activities. If you don't have strength, the muscle pain will start and your bone health will affect. So first fitness component, strength, second endurance, and next flexibility. If you don't have flexibility, means it is the range of motion around the joint. If you don't have flexibility, you will suffer the pain or you will go through the injury. I will give some example. Like if those people who works like this on computer throughout the day, they don't have, if they don't have the flexibility of their deltoid muscles, they cannot stay like this, and they will start the back pain in upper portion. If you don't have the sufficient flexibility of gluteus muscle, you will suffer low back pain. So flexibility also very, very important. So fitness means not only running, not only jogging, or not only cycling. It is sum of 5 motor abilities. And if you want your fitness, you have to improve all these factors. and neuromuscular coordination. If you improve your strength, endurance, you improve cardiovascular endurance, definitely automatically you will improve your coordination. But if it is not sufficient only exercise. If you want to improve your fitness, you need three things. You need tripod. First is exercise, second is balanced diet, and last that is rest. Here we are discussing about the exercise. Rest means not only sleep, you need a very good sleep, but here we consider this rest means rest between two training sessions, rest between two training set, to training exercise. Here we suppose the rest. But why common man need this fitness? So first and most important is that to avoid lifestyle related diseases. There are so many diseases like heart attack, cardiovascular diseases, coronary artery diseases. If you are fit, you are doing proper exercise, you are taking proper balanced diet, definitely you will prevent all these lifestyle related diseases. And if you are suffering from those diseases, definitely you will reverse. We can reverse all these diseases. Second, to improve your functionality in daily life. There are so many works. If you are doing job, if you are a farmer, if you are working in IT industry, but though any work, if you are doing, if you are fit, you can do more properly and without any fatigue throughout the day. So first aim to improve your functionality in daily life. Second, to avoid the lifestyle related diseases. And last, I would like to tell you that to delay the aging. Aging is a process. We cannot avoid the aging, but definitely if you are doing exercise and if you are doing proper rest, if you are taking proper balanced diet, definitely we can delay the aging. And last, that is beauty. If you are slim and fit, you will look very beautiful. And if you are obese, that is not good looking. So exercise is very, very important. And apart from this, if you want to become a fit, you have to do the exercise. Second component is balanced diet, and last that is rest. So my advice is that start your exercise and taking proper balanced diet. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Mehtaji. Hope audiences understood the importance of fitness. Now I would like to turn it over to Dr. Gitanjali Bide. Madam, I remember the old proverb, health is wealth, which is indeed so true. Madam, I need your opinion on nutrition for fitness and exercise.
Thank you for inviting me for this presentation and for this panel discussion. I would like you to request me to make the host to share the screen.
Yes, already done, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So basically, I'm going to talk about what is the role of nutrition for exercise and fitness. As the earlier panelists have emphasized the importance of nutrition and having a balanced diet, I'm just going to highlight certain important aspects when we look at nutrition as a science and to support exercise as well as fitness. So the four pillars of health according to ancient Ayurveda are Ahar, Vihar, Achar, and Vichar. So what you eat is Ahar. Vihar is the activity that you do. Lifestyle is your achar, like, because all these are important components that are contributing to the non-communicable diseases or the metabolic disorders that we see, and there is rampant increase in all these aspects today. So Ahar, Vihar, Vichar, and Achar are very, very important four pillars of health. Then we come to the lifestyle diseases, which are a major body burden, and the different diseases that can occur because of poor dietary habits, that is obesity, mental health, cancer, heart disease, respiratory disorders, hormonal disorders like diabetes, and certain food allergies will be observed in population. And India is slightly going to be the fastest, it's considered to be the diabetes capital of India and for the whole world. And it is very important to focus on our dietary patterns and food choices so that we are able to achieve better health as well as fitness. As the earlier speaker had mentioned about the muscle endurance, the important components of physical fitness, you can achieve a proper muscle fitness, muscle endurance, strength, agility with proper diet. And fitness is related to the endurance performance. Importance of fitness is more in relation to winning certain competitions, improving appearance to tone up your body. And for health relation, it is for better aging, longevity, improving the quality of life, reducing the stress levels, taking care of your blood pressure, and also to obtain freedom from pain as well as disease. The next component is the dietary goals. What should be your dietary goal? The goal is to achieve positive health and optimal performance, ensure adequate nutritional status, and also prevent certain diseases and chronic diet related diseases. And for this, there is a need to have a proper balanced diet. Now, the new concept that has come now, apart from balanced diet, is that food diversification. So instead of having only the same kind of food every day, like chapati, bhaji, and rice and dal, these are the common foods that are consumed by everybody. But there is a great need of diet diversification, and fill our plates with half quantity of vegetables, and then the remaining portion of cereal, pulses, and other nuts and oil seeds, etc., will be there in our diet. So the plate has to be half filled with vegetables for every meal, so that you get more amount of micronutrients that will take care of all your requirements, as well as it will help in prevention of the major non-communicable diseases. Another thing is the FSSI movement is a very great initiative which says that aaj se thoda kam. So what are the three important things that you need to reduce in your daily diet if you want to prevent non-communicable diseases? Is to have moderate fat intake, moderate sugar intake, and moderate salt intake. Now, it could be a challenge to meet this requirement because people are already consuming high amounts of sugar, fat, as well as salt. So to reduce this, WHO has recommended around 5 grams of salt per day. So you have to reduce salt in your cooking and try to avoid the intake of highly processed foods, packaged foods, which contain high amount of salt. And this is what is a very common practice among the young people who are, whenever they are hungry, they actually reach out to all these kind of packaged foods, which are very high in monosodium glutamate, baking powder, and salt. Also, while cooking, try to minimize the use of salt. The other thing is to reduce the fat intake. So use less oil for cooking, use other cooking methods, measure the oil with a spoon instead of pouring the oil while cooking, and also use less amount of trans fats packaged food. So most of us are falling prey to certain advertisements where a lot of packaged foods keep on emphasizing that no one can eat just one. So reduce the intake of all these saturated fats in the daily diet, reduce the sugar intake by avoiding sweet foods or reducing their quantity, restrict the intake of sweets, desserts, confectionery, mithais, sugary drinks, cold drinks, and snacks. This is not something new that I am emphasizing, but it is definitely important to reduce the intake of all the three culprits in our daily diet, that is sugar, fat, and salt. Then food is also associated with stress, and food can improve your mood or it can change your mood. And it is also observed that stress increases the food intake. So when people are stressed, they reach out to something which is empty calorie, which is high in carbohydrate as well as fat. So where try to reduce your mental stress, reduce your anxiety, so that your food choices will be proper. Apart from that, don't fall prey to all the fad diets that are there, because what is most important is a balanced diet. You cannot have intermittent fasting or a 16-hour fasting diet or a high fat diet or a low calorie diet, but what is most important and most sustainable is to have a balanced diet for every meal of the day, so that you will be able to adjust to this kind of dietary pattern and also follow it for a longer period of time. And last but not the least is the mindful eating. It is very important that when you eat your meals, you should be aware of what you are eating, your body sensations, what kind of feelings that you have, whether you have a good feeling or a bad feeling or a neutral feeling, that is going to impact your digestive system and absorption of the food. So mindful eating is very important. We have this ancient system of sitting down and eating without watching television. These are some of the things which are there in our culture, but we are forgetting that. And I would like to emphasize that eat slowly, appreciate every bite, and see what happens. It will do the magic and you will attain good health. Thank you.
A healthy body will always benefit healthy mind. We understood that very well, ma'am. Thanks for important inputs from your side. Every heartbeat is a sign of life. Our heart is working 24 into 7 hours, and that is very important. To take care of our heart, with us, Dr. Sachin Lakde, who is the cardiologist, to share his views and enrich the discussion with his input on prevention of lifestyle-related diseases through sports, exercise, and nutrition. Dr. Sachin Lakde, are you there?
Yes, madam. Yes, madam. Good morning.
Yes, sir.
Sorry,
Yes,
there
sir.
was technical
Yeah, we are
problem
here
with
to
the.
hear you.
Yeah. Good morning,
Yes.
everybody. Good morning. Thank you, Bharti Vidyapith and Dr. Neetaji sir and Kirti madam for giving that opportunity on talking on such an important topic on what magic fitness can do, what importance of in our all the non-communicable diseases like obesity, heart problems, why this fitness, physical activity and sport plays important. I'll highlight few of the things from my slides. I'll share few of these slides. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah. Hope my slides are visible. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So it's like we have seen as an Indian, not it's not only Indian statistics, but all over world. That 80% of adult population, they are not engaged in any physical activity, and that's the problem root cause for the all diseases what we are encouraging in all over the world. The lack of any physical activity and exercise has created more than 80% of disease. And in one of the statistics, very interesting, where the 35% don't engage at all in any kind of activity. That's very surprising and that's very tedious. That's all what things are. This is the Indian statistic. We can see 1 out of 5 have are obese. So why this kind of creation is there? Because the fat muscle which increases, the obesity increases over a period of time, and the people are lack of any kind of exercise or activity. We all know what chronic health problems we can have with this lack of physical activity. It's many things like high cholesterol, high blood pressure, high patient getting diabetes, person getting diabetes, heart problems, coronary artery disease. Many of the cancers are related to the even lack of physical activity. Orthopedic problems like back problem, joint problems, these all things are created because there is lack of physical activity, and it's very much correlated. If we see the world overall world, the communicable diseases were prevalent 80%. Nowadays, except now COVID, communicable diseases like heart problems, stroke problems, they are the main cause of the mortality. You can say 60-70% of the things are because of non-communicable, which can be easily prevented by just doing activity. Netaji sir has told very well about the physical sports and activity, but I'll highlight Gitanjali madam has talked about the fitness, nutrition. I just would like to highlight the importance of stress as well as sleep. Being a cardiologist, being taking care of cardiovascular diseases and overall health, this why fitness, physical fitness component remains important. Just I'll come first to what is fitness. The sir has talked about the Netaji sir has talked about the cardiovascular fitness, aerobic, and strengthening muscle endurance testing, flexibility. So all this, even the skill related are there, where the balance, coordination, and speed. This component also plays where the neurological problem, aging problem, that can be avoided just by doing the physical activity and the sports. These are the component where you can see cardiovascular, muscle strengthening, muscle endurance, and flexibility remains. So we all know all these components, like playing some games like tennis, cricket, even football, badminton, going for trek, hiking, going for the routine exercise, walking, and even for the dancing is kind of also physical activity, we will say. It doesn't matter for that. Anything that moves your body is your physical activity. What a benefit of it? It actually maintain healthy body weight. What was telling about the, it reduces the stress, anxiety, depression, builds the healthy bone, muscle, joint. It boosts your energy level, improves your quality sleep. All have this. We all know about this physical activity benefits, but we lack this kind of lack this kind of physical activity, which is the root cause for the diseases. So even physical inactivity activity will reduce you from dying from the heart diseases or stroke, development of high blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, obesity, and even osteoporosis, where your bone gets the calcium from the bone goes, and that weakens your joints and the your bones. So there are a lot many of things we can talk about that, but 30 minutes of exercise in a day, that's all. And that's also most weekend, even 4-5 days in a week is also adequate for the exercise. Aerobic fitness, jogging, walking, swimming, bicycling, that what sir has talked about, the Netaji sir, about a very good perspective he has given about the aerobic fitnesses. Muscle strengthening is also becomes important thing, which improves the body composition as well as prevents the injury and improve your performance overall. So all this weight push-ups, weightlifting remains. Stretching of your body also is very important part of the fitness, so that your joints and bones become strengthened. If we see body composition, what we change from with exercise is from, you can see these two women, they have the same weight, but we can see the composition, what she has is all the fat. So weight is not only important, what is your body composition is important. See, even this, we can say she looks like a slim, but her weight is more than a weight. So that's very important, that your body composition, what is fat contains, that should not be there with in your body. Fat contents, normal fat content, if we see for the men and women, that it's around 10 to 12% of fat is essential for men, and 2 to 6%. Athletes, it should be 6%, around 6 to 8%. For fit person, it should be less than that, and unacceptable is about 20 for the 30 for the women and 20 for the men. So that becomes the obesity, and that's very dangerous for all kind of diseases. So another important component is the yoga stress, which decreases the stress level as well as improves the strength as flexibility. So just one thing about how much you should do physical training is your target heart rate. That comes with the maximum heart rate is 220 minus your age. That should be, it should be between the minimum of this and maximum of this, because what is benefit anaerobic, you go more for the intense activity, your anaerobic activity will go, and you will go into red dangerous zone, which is not good for you. For to keep the fat burning zone, it should be between 60 to 80. All kind of exercise are good for body, whatsoever you do. A lot many things improve in your life. there should be even cooling down period, so that there are no sudden rises in hormonal changes in your body, and your heart gets, your overall performance increases over a period of time. So nutrition, madam has talked very well, but I would
सर आपकी आवाज
madam has Gitanjali madam has excellently told about the things. It should be a balanced diet rather than a specific diet. So if it's a very simple thing, if you eat more calories and you use less calorie, you will gain weight. Calories are less and use calories are more, then you lose weight. If it's balanced, you try to control your weight. So drinking adequate water is also important. Stress, I won't tell much about it, but the sleep is also quality of sleep. Nowadays, sleep is another factor. What we see in heart diseases patient, or many of the patient, blood pressure, hypertension, 8 to 10, 6 to 8 hours of sleep is required by our body. At least 6 to 8 hours. The lacking period is that many of them sleep for 10 hours, but the quality of sleep is disturbed. They wake up for 3-4 times. They sit for the long lasting on the social media. That's bad. So this all things, if we improve our physical fitness, sports, in that case we do regular exercise, we put a balanced diet, then we go for the best one with our to prevent the which we can easily prevent: diabetes, blood pressure, or we can postpone the disease, or we can maintain the disease. Even heart attacks and strokes can be prevented. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable inputs. Now we are turning towards our most experienced panelist of the day, Lieutenant Colonel Dr. Srinivasa Rao. Sir, could you please tell us your views on the question, which are the best practices and policies to be implemented to avoid non-communicable diseases?
Yeah, thank you very much, ma'am. And the Dr. Netaji Jadhav explained about general fitness, about the 5 components of the fitness, mantras and sutras, and what is the daily routine, how to avoid the non-communicational diseases, and about the Dr. Gitanjali Bide madam has explained about muscular fitness and diet very well, improve the strength components and dietary goals, food diversification. Yeah, the best is आज से थोड़ा कम is the most benefitable sutra. And about the Dr. Sachin sir explained about the NCDs and about the complete patterns of effects, how the non-communicational diseases increase, diabetes, heart strokes, and explained well about the sleep disorders, benefits of physical activities, and especially obesity. Sir concentrated on obesity because all leads to the obesity only. And he explained about the fat contents, about the normal athlete and the athlete and non-athletes and heart rates. Madam, now I would like to focus on powerful ways to improve the fitnesses. These are the best practices. The according to the fitness, the variation in the workouts, the daily training is the should be variation in training, and track and measure the performance variables in athlete day-to-day life. Proper diet factors, as the Gitanjali madam mentioned, without diet there is no fitness. And along with the diet, rest and recovery methods in between the training sessions. According to the along with the physical activity, we have to train our brain also. The brain is most important to adopt the training methods as the fuel, adding into the fuel for the body daily right way and right activities. Adding supplements like protein supplements is the major components for the physical training part. As we all know, the key factors of NCDs are One is modifiable factors and one is the others are non-modifiable factors like BP, smoking, alcohol, diabetics, obesities, cholesterol. These all can be modified. The human being can be modified, but non-modifiables are age, gender factor, genetical factors, biological disorders, behavioral factors. These are all the non-modifiable. However, all these things, the best practices we can overcome on this. As Dr. Sachin sir said, at least 30 minutes daily physical activity. Along with this physical activity, we can improve. Sometimes we are in traveling, sometimes we are in not able to go out for the physical activity. We can modify the physical activities through yoga, to daily the asanas and all. Add your the friends into the groups also to encourage them to get in the best practices way in the groups. The physical activities, like some people are weekends going for the cycling, some people are going for the trekking, some the business people are they're not even able to go, so they go for the long walkings and the long endurance marathons. So these are the best practices. The most of the things are lack of motivation. The lack of motivation in the society, these non-communication diseases are not preventing. They should have a proper planning and the calendars to make this healthy lifestyle. Along with this, healthy diet, the diet pattern is more important along with this normal daily routine. The mostly in Indian, as Dr. Sachin sir has mentioned, 80% people are not doing any physical activity because we don't have in our tradition. We don't have that thing is like what we Western people, the weekends they go for 30 kilometers, 40 kilometers, walking, cycling, jogging, running. And what in Indian society, we are, weekends, the weekends has come for only for the rest. So they are more eating and more sleeping, more the daily routine disorders are in the weekend only. So that is the most important aspects are coming up for the this non-communication diseases increasing. And what we are practicing in the in the Indian Army, as Gitanjali ji madam also were the nutritionist for last 20 years for the Army sports athletes and Army Sports Institute and Mission Olympics. We have we change the trend. We change the trend of the athletes. Only training is not an important. Along with the training, the diet pattern is more important than training, and the training, the recovery is more important than the training and diet. So these all key factors are making influence on the non-communicational diseases, madam. And most of the things now the India is getting more obesities and more these communicational diseases. Because of that only our lifestyle has gone down. And I want to add on this. This is one of the best and the panels which are there in this this today's seminar. And I am really happy to be with the associated with the Bharati Vidyapeeth panelism. Thank you, madam.
Okay, thank you, sir. Dr. PD, madam, we always spoke about nutrition, and in young generation, it's very prominent word. When they go for dietary aspects of their weight gain and weight loss, what do you think? What are the positive and negative effects came on their body? What is your opinion on this regards?
What I see in my practice in youth is there are two different kinds of things that are happening nowadays. Either they are grossly underweight, and especially the girls trying to lose weight, and also they are suffering from a lot of eating disorders. And the other hand, there are youth who are actually putting on a lot of weight. So there are two things, that is undernutrition as well as overnutrition. So it is very important. You may also see that in certain colleges if women or girls are asked to play some sport, they are not able to play that sport. They faint on the ground. So this is the common scene that is seen with the young girls, because they are not focusing on their strength as well as fitness, and either they are starving themselves or they are overeating and by being obese. So basically, the message has to go clear and loud to them that they should not fall prey to any kind of marketing advices, or make right food choices, stick to their home meal pattern, and try to eat foods which are home cooked, as at least two main meals, and then prevent excessive amount of snacking, which is a cause for concern, not only for their health, but it is also a cause for concern for the environment, because when we buy a packaged food like chips or anything, we are actually increasing the garbage dump on the earth also. So that education message needs to go to them. Try to eat home cooked meals, home cooked foods, and choose healthy options. If for snacks, fruits, vegetables, salads, etc. can be consumed. Avoid packaged foods. And as I explained earlier, aaj se thoda kam is very important for the young population, and it also applies for the senior population.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. We come to Dr. Sachin Thakre again. Sir, do you believe in the sentence, an apple a day keep the doctors away? We don't want to keep you away, but we want your opinion on some thing. I would like to ask you the question, how physical inactivity is responsible for non-communicable diseases?
Yeah, very good question, madam. And what is you said, apple in a day can keep you from away from the doctor. That's very true, because it's a old philosophy. It's that you eat more natural food in your, you will have less diseases. What Geetanjali madam was trying to tell the young generation or the people around, even the middle age or elderly, we should try to stick to our basic diet of the less processed food or no processed food in our diet. Eat natural food. And the role of, if we see the non-communicable diseases, if think of a person getting a heart attack at the age of 35, 30 years, we must have heard about the losing the person at age of 30, 35. Then it's because of, clearly because they don't have the physical activity or exercise, and or they are not engaged to any sports. Stress level, these all component play. And even if you think of a person having a paralysis at 40, 45 age, what kind of life he'll live over a period of time? He is disabled, he is dependent on, he might lose his job, he is at risk of many things. Even the things like diabetes, blood pressure, the person is getting at 40, 45 age, and he has to live it for rest of his life, 30 years, 35 years, about that. And then you have to take 10 medicines, then you have to do frequent visit to hospital. So simple remedies like physical activity, physical training, physical doing a sports can prevent this for longer duration of time. I don't say that you won't have a diabetes or blood pressure in your life or a heart attack, but that event will be postponed for at least 10 to 15 years, or maybe few things like genetics we cannot modify the things, but definitely taking care of this basic physical activity can prevent, or rather than prevent, you can postpone the event for a long time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I heard a few cases, those who just are having the age of 12 or 13 years who died because of heart attack. So this is very important topic, that we have to control our diet and we have to go with the exercise to keep ourselves fit. Now I'm turning towards the Dr. Netaji Sadhav. I just wanted to hear his views on the sports and exercise in our daily life, importance of it. We know that today's life has become hectic and people follow busy schedules, loaded with work pressure and responsibilities. time crunch are there, absenteeism in work and life balance. Also with the technology advancement, many people do inactive work all day. So in such cases, how you can elaborate importance of sports and exercise? I mean to say, can you enlighten us with any suggestion to manage their daily activities pertaining to good health?
Yes, madam. Now all the panelists have given their views regarding on the fitness and cardiovascular health and nutrition. Main reason for this obesity and all these lifestyle related diseases, that lack of exercise and wrong eating pattern. And all are saying that they don't have time because all are busy. But only now Dr. Lakhdhi sir has said that 40-45 minute exercise is sufficient. It is not necessary to go in the gym every day. If it is not possible to go to gym, you can do all the exercise at your home. Because I have asked you that there are 5 fitness components for cardiovascular training. My opinion is that Surya Namaskar, it is also very good exercise. If you does this Surya Namaskar with slightly more speed, your cardiovascular endurance will improve here and also strength will improve here. Or you can do the stepping, you can do the Dand Baitak also. So there are so many activities for cardiovascular endurance you can do at your home. Also, you can do the strength training at your home. You can do all these activities with your own body weight. Generally, we divide the workout, we divide the strength training in 3 parts: leg workout, chest, shoulder, tricep, and back and bicep. For leg workout, you can do squat, lunges, step up, calf raises with your own body weight. Not necessary to take additional weight. If it is not possible, go to the gym. For chest workout, you can do the Surya Namaskar, you can do push-ups, you can do the Dand Baitak, which traditional wrestlers for many years they are doing the Dand Baitak. So it is a very good exercise. Sapati, Chakradans are there, and you can do without any equipment. And for back workout, you can do the pull-ups. And also you can do some lat pull down like exercise with resistance band. So it is not necessary to go to the gym every time. And for weekend, you can go for trekking if you want to change for cardiovascular training. So my suggestion that it is not good that we don't have time, saying it is not good. You have time. You can do the exercise in 30-40 minutes at your home, which I have told you now.
Okay. Any panelists wanted to add any thing in this? Floor is yours. Vidya ma'am, Sachin sir, Dr. Srinivasa. You want to add anything in this?
I would like to add.
Continue, Geetanjali, madam, please.
I would like to add one thing, that whatever you do, whether you are doing exercise or you are doing eating the food, mindful eating is very important, or mindfulness is very important in whatever activity that you may do, because then you will be one with the activity and it will definitely help you and it will show the results.
Yeah.
Just one component to be added. What Netaji sir has well explained about the various components of physical fitness. I would I can understand doctors like us or even Netaji sir or all the panelists. They are so busy. In spite of that, they take the time for the exercise. In a week, 7 days, we have 2 days, Saturday, Sunday and on our hand, we can do definitely exercise. Rest of the 5 days are remaining. Even 3 days is okay. Suppose you are unable to do the exercise in that period also, just doing the same simple thing like taking a lift. If we are climbing on 5th floor, rather than taking a lift, take stairs. That's very important. Or going in a car, if the distance is less than 1 kilometer, why you want to go on the take the car ride? It's simply walking will also improve your cardiovascular fitness. And if you ask, I go to hospitals where it's on 11th floor, I have to take the rounds, I go by walking. So rather than taking a lift, these simple things can add to your physical fitness.
Yes,
thank you.
I very much agree with Dr. Sachin, because now young generation only using the vehicles to move for getting something from short distance only. Yeah, Dr. Srinivasa Rao.
Yeah, here I want to add on one more thing. I am agree with the Dr. Geetanjali. What she has suggested for the daily routine food. We and the Indian culture having the different regional and areas, we are adopting daily routine, the same type of food, like same rice, same the gemu, the atta and all. So instead of taking the same daily routine food, we have to change the routine. Like what we do generally in the Indian Army, we have a menu for the 5 days, 7 days in a week. We change the complete the diet pattern. Like that, the common people, we even including my family, my house, also the daily routine foods. So we have to adopt the change of the diet is the more important along with the physical fitness activities in the daily routine life, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. Now let's move on to the last question of this panel. The question is, what is the relation between sports, exercise, and nutrition? So this question is common to all panelists. Anyone can come up and share their views on this.
Yeah, ma'am, here I would like to comment on this.
Yes,
See,
sir.
generally, we as a sports professionals, we feel that training is more important than nutrition and recovery. But nowadays, in the scientific ways, what Europeans and Western countries, we adapted this formula last 20 years, 25 years, we are getting the results at the international arena without their nutrition, without the recovery methods, like physiotherapy methods or other methods in the recovery, sleep other than the sleeping. And the diet is the nutrition part is the more important than training. As I feel, as a training expert, I made my athletes into the balancing diet. If you are doing the 4,000, 5,000 calories exercise in a day in the one session, you have to completely recover the with the 5,000 calories of the food, which is the nutritional food, which is more digestible for the next session. Not like that eating and keeping into the stomach and it will be digest tomorrow. So not like that. So we are changing the diet pattern along with the sports activity. Then only we are getting the results. This is my opinion on nutrition, madam.
My opinion is, especially in case of athletes or those who are physically active, it is important to maintain the timing of the meal. When you eat is very important, because when if you are doing intense physical activity, what you eat as a pre-exercise meal, what you eat during exercise is important. How hydrated you are before you start exercise, what you do after the exercise is very important, so that there is proper recovery and your body is prepared for the next training session. Otherwise, it's not that we do exercise or do intense training sessions only for once. You have to prepare your body with rest, recovery, and also the optimal diet that will help you to recover and get back to the next training session without any effort. Otherwise, the athletes will be in pain, not willing to get up for their early morning training session. So all that is very, very important. Nutrient timing is important, and also the composition of the meal to help the recovery.
I think she is struck.
Got hanged, Geetanjali madams.
Yes.
Yeah. Just few things to be added from my side. Whatever they said, things are very true. Whatever the nutrition part is there, what Colonel Srinivas sir and Nitaji sir were telling. The even we have seen the patient. I deal directly with the patients. I know heart diseases. The patient comes with heart attack, and if I ask history, how much of you do exercise? Many of them, the common answer is that I used to do 3 years back. I used to do 5 years back. Nowadays I am busy with my work. I cannot do. And see, the thing is that if you stop your exercise, your benefit of exercises goes within a few months or so. So it's very important to do consistently physical exercise physical exertion, exercises, that remains very important component to have the continuity with the exercise and get the maximum benefit for lifelong.
Dr. Netaji?
I would also like to add something that if you want to achieve fitness, you need the exercise, balanced diet, and but Dr. Sachin sir has told that stress is a very important factor. So apart from this exercise, if you go for the competitive games, it will be stress busters, because after the playing game, your mood becomes very good. Because to play competitive game, it is very important for your mental health. It is my opinion. Apart from this exercise is necessary. And relation between sports, exercise, and nutrition. If you want to play sports, first you want to do the fitness. Or says that sports make you fit, but due to the sports, our fitness improves. But if you want to play the sports at national state level, first of all, you have to prepare yourself. You have to do fitness first, and after that, you have to play the sports. And then sports will improve your overall health. It is my opinion.
Can I ask one question to Dr. Lakde?
Yeah.
Basically, I want to know, there are a lot of young people who are gym goers and who exercise very intensely. They consume a lot of supplements, and we have seen in the recent past that many people above the age of 30 or 40 are facing heart attacks. What is your opinion? They are very fit.
Yeah. The things are, you have correctly pointed out the thing. Recently, we have seen very fit people, gym doing people for 5 years, 3 years, they're getting the heart attack. See, two components play in this. First of all, the intensity, where I have shown it. If you go beyond your aerobic capacity, your body goes into anaerobic metabolism, which will affect your heart. It will have chances that the person will have heart attack, because anaerobic activity will produce the lactic acid, which itself is bad for the body. And that's the reason they do intense exercise which are beyond, and without getting properly trained. Doing intense exercise is also okay. Suppose the person is lifting the weight of 25 kg, and he goes suddenly, no, my colleague is taking 40 kgs, 50 kgs, I should go for that. That kind of competitive thing should go. It has to be a graded, properly properly trained exercise, rather than going with the sudden haphazard exercises. And second thing, what you told about the supplements, yeah, they are also bad. See, why have a supplement when you have natural food in, and the supplement itself, sometimes it has the component, people feel like my body is getting good. It's a kind of, sometimes they add steroids also, small doses of steroid that also affects your body. And my advice is not to take any kind of supplements. Even there are problems with supplements which has very high content of protein, which are the proteins which are harmful for your body, like kidneys also have affected with many people, and that's not as advisable to have a supplementary foods.
Yeah. Thank you. Now we reach to the end of panel 1 discussion, and I would like to go with the more discussions, but time constraints are there. We have to stop on some place. And I think audiences have understood the concept well on nutrition, which is key to overall good health and well-being. Sports help improve your ability to fight the diseases. Proper nutrition maintain good health and strong mind. Keeping the body fit with daily exercise is one of the necessities in today's life. Fit and healthy body and proper training can make you star in the field of sports. Sports are the link of success between nations, and healthy human is the root of healthy nation. We understood all these concepts very well from the all panelists. The panel discussion was indeed a shower of knowledge on the topic of nutrition and exercise, which can eliminate the non-communicable diseases from all our experts panelists. I would like to thank each and every one of their cherished views and inputs on this. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Now I request the audience to put their comment in the queries box, and we will share it on to the panelists. If you have specific question to specific panelists, we will revert back to you on that. I would like to offer my regards to all the speakers and delegates who took out time from their busy schedule to enrich this event with their precious views and knowledge. With this note, I would like to conclude first panel discussion here. We will further proceed with the discussion of second panel after a short tea break of 15 minutes. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning.
Good morning.
Hi, Nigel. Good morning.
Afternoon for you.
Hi, Ashish.
Hi. Hi, Sausa. Morning.
Hi, morning. Morning, everyone.
Morning.
How are you, sir?
Very well, thank you.
Sir, your screen name is coming as Mega Savash.
Yeah. Actually, sir, I tried. Actually, every time she is using my laptop, I requested Gaurav how it can be done.
Okay.
Gaurav.
If you go to the top right of your screen, your picture, there's three little dots.
Yeah.
And a drop down menu, and you can rename yourself.
Okay.
On that.
Screen share नहीं के लिए. Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Nijel.
There you go.
Madam.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Welcome back to the interesting panel 2 discussion. After a short break, panel discussion on the same topic, inclusion of physical literacy and physical education in school and college curriculum. The speakers and dignitaries of panel 2 will highlight the discussion of experts who will present the importance and application of physical literacy and education and its inclusion in school and college curriculum. We will commence second panel discussion with the opening speech of our eminent dignitary, Mr. Kunal. He is the former Indian badminton player. Currently, he is Chief National Coach for Indian National Badminton Team. He won the All England Open Badminton Championship in 2001, becoming the second Indian to achieve this feat after Prakash Padukone. He runs the Gopichand Badminton Academy. He received the Arjuna Award in 1999, the Dronacharya Award in 2009, and the Padma Bhushan, India's third highest civilian award in 2014. Because of his last moment assignment, he is unable to attend this event. Hence, he has sent the recorded message to be shared with you all.
Thank you to Bharati Vidyapeeth for organizing this very important webinar on a very important subject. I would like to congratulate the entire team, the organization, Professor Shivaji Rao Kadam, Dr. Vishwajit Kadam, Dr. Manik Rao Saloke, Dr. S.F. Patil, Dr. Kirti Mahajan, and Dr. Gaurav Pant for making this event happen. My thoughts on this very important subject have been summarized in the video which will follow, and I'm sure with many of you who are experts in the field, your valuable inputs will be of great value for each one of the participants and also for the future reference of many aspiring people on this subject. I congratulate the entire team and wish them all the very best. Crawling, walking, running, throwing, jumping, squatting, all these as a sequence would probably be called physical literacy. Physical literacy as a word was coined by the British scholar Margaret Whitehead. We in the last few years as a nation have focused on making this country alphabetically and numerically literate. But in the bargain, we've lost on a very important aspect, and that is physical literacy. If you look at India as a country, we've always looked at physical literacy as a very important component. We may not have used the word physical literacy, but our culture actually had physical activity as a key component, whether it's yoga, kalari, or our art forms of Bharatanatyam, Kuchipudi, Kathakali. All of these things were movement-based. Are things like temples being on hilltops and yatras needing us to move a lot, or our culture of sitting down and eating or bending to elders, all of these things actually had physical movement incorporated into our lifestyles. How many kids in today's day and age have thrown a ball as far as it can go or as high as it can be thrown? If the boundaries of your physical being are not being explored, how can you even think of your mind to be a visionary? I think the last few years has seen a steady rise, an alarming rise in the number of lifestyle diseases which have come. The decline of physical literacy has meant the increase in lifestyle diseases. Kids having diabetes very young, heart rates being very high among professionals very young. The number of people who have had back issues has been tremendous. The diabetes issues have been tremendous. Obesity has been tremendous. Kids, a majority of the kids ending up with flat foot, and many of them not able to do simple things like running backwards. I think these are major issues for a nation which is so young, because from a health perspective, from a happiness perspective, from a mental health perspective, from a community perspective, I think addressing physical literacy solves many of these problems. In the last 2 years, we've had great public engagements. We've gone ahead and done things where people have come together to support physical literacy, to be part of the journey. We've gone ahead to try and influence governments to ensure that public policy incorporates physical literacy as a key component, and to have multiple ministries come together to own physical literacy. We've gone to education departments to tell them the importance of kids playing sport. It is beyond medals is what we are talking about, and that is what in the next few years we need to build on. As a nation, we are at a point where we need to intervene. We need to implement what the learnings have over the past few years. We have met scientists, we have met scholars, we have met people who have worked in the field to come together with a plan which ensures that as a nation, we start to become more physically literate. It's time for us to move further. It's time for us to organize this into a setup which is more sustainable, more research which is important, more advocacy which is important, more policy which is important, because each state is different, each city is different, each community is different. So what works in Kerala may not work in Kashmir, what works in Gujarat may not work in Mizoram. I think it's very important for us, the length and breadth of the country has different cultures, and it's very important that we incorporate that which is existing into the policy to ensure that each one of us is moving and taking advantage of being physically literate. In the last few years, successive governments have spoken about the importance of sport. I think steadily over the years, investment in sport has gone up. People have started looking at sport differently from what they've looked at in the last few years. Government has looked at yoga very differently. Today, World Yoga Day has started off, and people across the country have started to do running as a major activity, yoga as a major activity. It's time to deepen this further. So I request governments to come be part of this journey, to share this vision and to build on this vision to ensure that there is a population which is happy, which is healthy, and which has access to the activities which can be done physically. It's time for governments to invest, it's time for corporates to invest, it's time for citizens to participate, and it's time for all of us to come together as a nation to build on physical literacy.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring audio speech. We indeed very honored you having with us for this event today. The immense input and knowledge shared by you will surely benefit one and all. The next speaker for the panel two, Mr. Nigel Green, is a chair, International Physical Literacy Association, and the vice chair of Northwestern Countries Physical Education Association. Nigel Green is currently a physical education and physical literacy consultant, having been a senior lecturer in physical education at Liverpool John Moores University from 2009. He demonstrated a commitment and passion to promote and support the development of physical education and physical literacy worldwide. Welcome, Mr. Nigel Green.
Namaste and good afternoon, everyone. Nice to see you all. Okay, I'll share my screen and we'll get going. I'm assuming you can all see that now.
Yes.
Is that correct? Yeah, you can see and hear. Okay. Lovely. Well, thank you very much for inviting me to share a presentation, to be part of the panel discussion on this very important subject. I'm going to focus on three things quite simply. The impact of non-communicable diseases, which I know the previous session looked at significantly, so I'll only light touch on that. But my main focus will be on the importance of physical education and physical literacy for India, and how India can perhaps move forward with a focus on physical literacy. One thing I'll do from the start, though, is just clarify a few points, because many governments, many individuals across the world use different definitions and different terms in different ways. So just to clarify as we move on, sport is about competitive activities that are rule-based, that have winners, have losers. They can be individuals, they can be teams, and so on. We often use sports within physical education as a learning vehicle. School sport is slightly different, in that school sport allows individuals to continue their learning within a school environment. And again, they're often competitive activities, either within the school or between schools. Physical activity is subtly different. These are bodily movements that require us to move ourselves in different environments, whether that's working, playing, or carrying out household activities. And physical fitness is a state of health and well-being. It's our ability to perform either particular sports or occupations or our daily activities. And it's very specific. Whereas physical education is about how we educate children in, through, and about movement. It's how we nurture their enjoyment, their confidence, their social skills, their well-being, their values and attitudes, so that they can live a more purposeful life within society as they grow and they develop. I'll pick up more about physical literacy as I go through the presentation, but essentially it's our disposition or our attitude to choose to be physically active for life. And within this, it's our embodied interaction in the world, and it's how we value and take this responsibility that's important. And that's related to our motivation, confidence, physical competence, knowledge and understanding. And the final one, our focus today, is the non-communicable diseases, which are not transmitted directly from one person to another, but we know are a significant issue. And moving on to these, we are very aware from the WHO and their studies over nearly 20 years that these diseases make up 7 of the 10 key causes of deaths throughout the world. Lifestyle-related diseases are the leading cause of death and disability today. And this is a major concern to every nation in the world in relation to their healthcare, but also to the loss of productivity and the fact that lives are shortened. What's interesting is certain studies have found that mortality falls for men from 64 per 10,000 to 18 in the fittest men. And likewise in women from 39 per 10,000 to 18. This is indicating that the fitter and healthier we are, the more chance we have of experiencing longer life and a more valued and valuable life. It is difficult to overstate the positive impact that sport and physical activity has on health and well-being. Being more active can lift your mood, make you more resilient to serious illness, improve the quality of your life. And for many, the challenge, the social interaction and enjoyment of sport and physical activity can bring significant personal rewards. Meanwhile, unhealthy and sedentary lifestyles increase the risk of developing these diseases and place the burden, as I've said, on health systems. So engaging in sport and recreation, physical activity has benefits to society. It promotes that social cohesion, it develops skills and confidence, and can have other benefits, such as tackling crime or antisocial behaviour and contributing to the economy. But what we do know is that making change is difficult. Changing behaviours in individuals is difficult. But what we also know is that if we can make changes that are significant in the early years of life, then this can have a significant lifelong impact. So how does PE fit into this? Well, unfortunately, for many countries, PE just focuses on sport and fitness. It doesn't consider the holistic development of individuals through engagement in physical activity. And what UNESCO will say, and many other organizations throughout the world, is that physical literacy should focus on 3 main aspects: the physical, the affective, and cognitive. Physically developing competence in a range of competitive, cooperative, and challenging activities that allow people to lead active lives both in and outside of school. The affective domain, where we look at developing confidence, interests, motivation, character, and values. And these all influence our disposition or our attitude towards engaging in physical activity. And then the cognitive aspects that develop our understanding of tactics, strategies, rules, concepts, problem solving, and so on. So how does physical literacy link in? So this is the subtle difference. Physical literacy, as UNESCO states, is the foundation of physical education. It's not a program in itself, but it's an outcome of any structured PE provision. And it's more easily achieved if the learners encounter a range of age and stage appropriate opportunities. And at this stage, I think it's important to mention that every one of us is different. Every individual has different experiences, different capabilities. And as such, PE teachers need to take that into account when they're teaching their lessons. UNESCO also go on to state that physical education and as such physical literacy should be included throughout the school journey. And what we say is physical education and physical literacy is a process that happens throughout life. And that's the important and subtle difference. It's a life course concept. What's important to note is that physical literacy is gaining traction as a concept throughout the world. India, as you heard from Palala Gopichan, took a very early interest in the concept, and great strides have been made by a number of organizations, a number of schools, a number of individuals, a number of universities within India. But it's very significant in many countries around the world. The definitions can be slightly modified and interpreted differently according to culture, but essentially the main focus is there. And what we have is teachers, schools, organizations and governments who are realizing the benefits of having a focus on physical literacy. Quite interesting, just in the last week, there was an announcement that funding in Canada, where the government has provided a $3.8 million donation to Sport for Life to develop physical literacy within active communities for the young children. So we know that physical literacy as a concept is flourishing and gaining traction throughout the world. For those of you who are new to the concept, I'm just going to provide a very brief explanation, because physical literacy is a growing global concept and it has the individual at the heart of their relationship with physical activity. It is unique because it includes everyone, regardless of their capability or their age, and it's underpinned by holistic philosophies. But what it focuses on is providing purposeful, engaging, relevant, and rewarding physical activity experiences for everyone. And this will happen if we consider the motivation, the confidence, the physical competence, and the knowledge and understanding of individuals. As I've mentioned earlier, physical literacy is about our journey throughout life. So as soon as we're born, we're engaging physically within the world. The experiences we have before we go to school are crucial. And likewise, physical activity experiences whilst we're at school, within the community, and when we leave school and go throughout our lives, all have an impact on our physical literacy. What we suggest is that the individual is the heart of the focus of physical literacy. Promoting motivation is important by establishing positive learning environments. Promoting confidence through task mastery, performance, focusing on goals, and developing an individual's perceived competence is important. Developing their actual physical competence in a wide range of environments, as well as their knowledge and understanding, enables them to take responsibility as they move throughout life and to reflect and celebrate on the progresses they make. And if we get it right, if we manage to create positive experiences for young people, then the likelihood is that we will develop the attributes that are shown on the screen now. And if we can develop these attributes of wanting to be active, being confident in being active, moving efficiently, knowing how to move, working with others or by themselves, being aware of the importance of our health and well-being, and having that confidence, then this will impact on non-communicable diseases. And people will value physical activity throughout life. But also, we must realize that physical literacy fosters a fundamental human capability. Capability without which we could not develop as individuals, as humans. A capability that has the potential to enhance and enrich the quality of our lives and allows us to operate in concert with other capabilities. So essentially, it's allowing us to flourish. However, we do have an issue, and this has been raised, Gopichan raised it earlier on, and I'm sure it was raised in your other session previously. And I'm going to draw you to a document that's been released by the House of Lords in the UK just under 2 months ago about the issue of health and well-being. And the report noted the failings in sport and recreation that have resulted in little progress in tackling levels of inactivity, particularly in certain groups, women and girls, disabled, ethnic minorities, and the elderly, as well as people from less affluent backgrounds. Now, we know COVID has had an impact on this, but this is an ongoing problem, and it is prevalent throughout all the countries in the world. We also know that for many, the challenge, social interaction, and enjoyment that sport and physical activity brings is a significant personal reward. And more broadly, participation in sport and recreation can foster greater social cohesion and benefit national and local economies. The key points from the recommendation from the House of Lords, I think, resonate with every country, and India is certainly the case here. And what they're suggesting is the improvement of physical literacy should be a key principle at the heart of a national plan for sport and recreation. So having policymakers, government officials focusing on physical literacy will help develop the concept within the community and within the schools. The suggestion is that PE should be valued as a core subject and have equal value to that of literacy and numeracy. And again, I know from my experiences in India and many other countries around the world, physical education is not valued as highly as other academic studies. We've got to change that. We need to make physical education the most highly valued, because if we don't have our health and fitness, then we don't have a quality life. This requires funding. Now in the UK, we have a range of funding streams focused on PE and school sport. In different countries, funding is provided in different ways, but we have got to have a steady and focused funding stream. The government should also campaign and encourage parents to be active with the children. So this community idea of physical activity and engagement in activities within the community is of great importance. And very importantly, we should provide opportunities for the teachers to improve their knowledge and confidence of delivering PE within schools. We know many teachers have limited training, limited experience in teaching PE, and we need to develop that as well as improve the facilities within the community. Now, I'm sure this goes to every country again, and we have an opportunity. The wind is blowing and we can adjust our sails to reach our destination. But will we drift along the same path? Will we do the same things? Or should we be aiming to ignite a lifelong passion for movement and well-being? If we want to do that, we need to have a clear focus. We need to make sure that education, government, policymakers make physical literacy and physical education the most important thing on the curriculum. We need to change the curriculum of PE so that it allows the holistic development of individuals, not just a sport and fitness focus. We need to update the training of teachers. We need to support teachers who are currently involved in teaching PE and educate them about physical literacy and different ways of working. We need to improve the facilities and the equipment within schools and communities, develop better links between school and community so children can move within the community and take an active part throughout their lives. And I think this is one of the most important things, the last point. Often countries measure their success by gold medals, but I would suggest we should measure a country's success by how many people are engaging in physical activity on a regular basis every day. How many people are flourishing through their engagement in physical activity. Okay, and I'll leave it there. So I know we're going to move on to some questions and comments from the rest of the panel. Thank you for allowing me that time to share that.
Thank you, Najib. Thank you for your very important and visionary words for all audience. And we will keep in mind to include the physical education in the curriculum. And this initiative is only for showing the importance. And we are trying to give the importance of this area in the curriculum at college and school levels. Thank you very much. Next, I would like to introduce the moderator of the panel, who will proceed with the panel discussion. Dr. Gaurav Pant is the Assistant Professor, College of Physical Education, Bharati Vidyapeeth, Dean to be University. He had published more than 35 research papers. He had published more than 35 research papers as a resource person nationally and internationally. He authored 6 books and holds 2 patents in the field of physical education and sports. His area of interest is in curriculum development and research in physical education in sports, advanced technology in sports, and creating biodegradable sports products. Now, I would also like to give a short introduction of the team of experts of second panel who will give their skill inputs. Mr. Ashish Rawat. He is a facilitator and also leading a team of physical education and sports, expert at the Heritage School, Rohini, and also advocating physical literacy curriculum. Welcome, Mr. Ashish Rawat. Mr. Amit Malik. He is the head of Sports Social Impact Initiative, Abhinav Bindra Foundation, and ambassador for International Physical Literacy Association, IPLA. Welcome, Amit. Our next panelist, Mr. K.K. Sahu, who is the Director for Open and Distance Learning, and also Director, IQAC, at Lakshmibai National Institute of Physical Education, Gwalior. Welcome, Sahu.
Thank you.
Now, I hand over the moderator and request him to proceed the event. Dr. Gaurav Pant, now floor is yours.
Thank you, ma'am. Very good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this panel discussion. Before we proceed, there are very young generation listening to us. So I would like to tell them the format of this panel discussion. So the format is every panelist here have certain questions I'll put up. They will give the answers, and in the end, I'll be coming back with other questions too, as per the requirement. So the first panelist is Mr. Ashish Rawat. Hello, Mr. Ashish. So Mr. Ashish Rawat has done his bachelor's and master's from Lakshmi National Institute of Physical Education. Matter of fact, he was my batchmate in my university. So right now he is a facilitator in school, international school in Delhi, leading a team of physical educators. And he is an advocate of physical literacy. The first question to you, Ashish, how do you find being a physical educator and educating physical literacy? What is the difference between physical education and physical literacy, very in context to Indian education system? I believe if you can elaborate more.
Right, surely. Thank you, Gaurav, for inviting, and thank you, Bharati Vidyapeeth University, for giving us this platform to speak about physical literacy. I think I will go back of what Nigel started with saying. So I'll take you back to one of the instances that happened with me. So we were presenting at the conference, one of the conferences in Jaipur, and there was a paper presentation that was being done. And this gentleman comes to us and he asked me that, how do you differentiate, or when you call a child or a teacher being physically literate? I said, I had a counter question to it. I asked, like, when do you call a person physically educated? So the answer that he gave me, that a physically educated person is the person who might have done his bachelor's and master's. For that, my answer was, physical literacy is not a goal that we are looking for. It is an approach, it is a disposition, which is ever after. So physical literacy being the driving force of any PE curriculum that we run is the source. So they are not different, they are alike. But at the same time, we need to understand that physical literacy being the driving force of whatever curriculum that we use in any of the universities, in any of these schools, whether you talk about Indian standards or you talk about standards in UK, or you talk about any standards that happen in the most of the leading countries that we have in the world. So just to make it very clear, there is no difference, but each other compensate and complement each other so that they glorify the personal being health.
Thank you. Second question. We already have physical education as a curriculum in Indian education system. Why do you think you being, catering a school and developing physical education curriculum for them, why do you think there is a need of physical literacy out there?
See, physical literacy itself has been taken as a foreign, how do you say that, when Nigel started saying, thank you, Nigel, for setting up a ground for me that I can relate everything from there, that everybody was speaking about that different countries use different words for expressing of what life or phase or aptitude that they are doing when they are taking about physical literacy. I'll go back to the recommendation sheet that Nigel presented. It talked about the policy. So you think of the policy, that one of the policy that was happened in the year 2010, it said that there has to be a compulsory of 60 minutes of period every day into a school. That was one of the compulsory policy making that done. But unfortunately, nobody looked at that whether the feasibility of having it, whether do we have persons to train it? Do we have the facilities to support it? Do we have the right knowledge to implement it? And it was just implemented. And do you see now from 2010 to 2022, it's still not implemented. And if few of these schools says that they have it, they say it in papers and not in real life. So that's the core reality fact. Now the second thing comes as the physical literacy. Now everybody talks about grassroots level. Now everybody says that earlier is better, right? So everybody talks about grassroots. Nigel said that it is also that when you are born, you started crawling. Gopichand sir also reflected, when you start crawling, when you're born, and then till you end into your grave, you do some kind of exercise, irrespective of what trade you are in, what profession that you are into, you do some kind of training, some sometimes consciously, sometimes unconsciously. What we need to bring in is that a conscious effort of being physical active. And that's what the school has to look into it. So now we say that the formal education system starts with school, right? So it is very important for all of us as physical educators or policymakers at school level. We need to understand that it has to bring it now. Think of a grade 1 child. When we are talking about the gross motor skill of that particular child, is he able to walk right? Is he walking on his toes or is in heels? Has anybody seen it? Is anybody correcting it? I hold my pen with 3 fingers and take a support of this, right? Do you see this? Ideally, what should I have been doing? I should have been holding it with 2, but I wasn't corrected maybe. So if I do it, my fine motor skill must have been better with my hands. Think of, you might have seen a lot of people walking, young chaps these days, and their laces are open. And now it's not bad. What I'm saying is they're rubbing their feet and walking. Do we tell them that walk onto your heels and first? But yes, we tell our physical educators that what is the biomechanics between walking, running, jogging, we would do all that. But for them, now it is too late. It has come into their habit. So it is very important to catch hold of the little errors that we are doing at the young age. So that's what I do with my young chap of 1.5 years. So I keep playing with them. That's my play with them. So I think, yes, that's the differentiate that I talk about.
Thank you, Ashish. There's last question. Where do you find the lacuna, when it comes to school curriculum? It's a big ask. Where you find the lacuna in the education system, school education system?
To be true, I would start on a positive side and then I go to what has been lacking. What I start on a positive side, that in the last 2-3 years or 4 years, we see a shift. Now people are getting to know that there is something like that, this exists. I need to exercise. I really love when I see a lot of people in the evening, young chaps, that holding a shake bottle and going to their gyms. If it is that, it is absolutely fine. It's good if a young mother or my father goes to temple every day walking 1 kilometer. It is good for me. So if they acknowledge that this is the kind of physical activity that I'm doing, I'm going upstairs 3 floors up to hang my clothes. That's a physical activity. So my father goes about like 10 to 15 times up and down. So it is the kind of, it's only that we have to be aware of what we are doing is what we need to do. So as a society, we need to be aware of what we are doing, and then we have to put a conscious effort of what we are doing. Now, the only thing that which has been lacking is we have always seen a physical activity from a physical perspective. We have never seen a physical activity, as Nigel said, from an affective and cognitive perspective, where I say, do I know what I'm doing? Do I understand of what I'm doing? Am I motivated enough to do what I want to do? Do I have the confidence in what I wanted to do? So if I see one act or one step of mine when I'm doing, it has to be mindful in nature. Once it becomes mindful, then it becomes. So Gaurav, I'm sorry, but it will take me an hour to say of what are the lacking areas to look into it. But the only thing that I would say is we need to relook at the policies, not at only school level. We need to look at the college level. We need to look at a community level. We also need to see of the curriculum that need to be developed. So I was going through my research note that I studied in my master's, and I had a research note that has been delivered 2 years back to a student. And those notes are absolutely similar. So now think about of what we are giving it to the child. 10 years when I did, or 12, 15 years back when I was doing research, when I was studying research, it is the same content that has been delivered. But now research has gone miles ahead. And we as educators are still lagging onto it. Do we talk about when we are teaching a student or are preparing a teacher, do we talk about different teaching methodologies at the university? Are we talking, are we still going to the command method, discussion method or something? Because it's not my fault if I don't. So as a physical education teacher, my work is that my profession, I earn a living, I eat my bread and butter, and then I go back and stay with my family. That's my importance. And there will be very few people who will want to increase their language. If this point was taken up when I was studying, At that point of time, it must have been taken care. Now, for any good curriculum, there are three things. And the fourth thing that I'll add to it. What are we teaching, right? Why are we teaching of what we're teaching? How are we teaching of what and why we are teaching? And then going back, saying that, are we doing well of what, why, and how? If we are not relating that up and down, I'm sorry, you pick up the curriculum from the bestest country that is delivering. You talk about the US curriculum, UK curriculum, or say about the bestest curriculum in the world. If you're not able to evaluate of what is right into your own setting, it will never work. You need to acclimatize, adapt that curriculum and make it yourself. Think about yoga, kabaddi, and how you can make that physically literate. That's an important point of view. So lacunas are a lot, but yes, the good thing is we are on a right path as a school, as a community. So maybe in the coming days, we need a little more of advocacy, more of such seminars, more of physical spaces. And I advocate to you, Bharati Vidyapeeth University, that why don't you inculcate a small certificate course for your students at something where they get aware about physical literacy, and what is the approach that they can do it with physical education, so they can uphold and then they can grow in the times to come. So there will be a lot of Nigel Greens, lot of Amit Malik, Dr. KK Sahu in the coming days, where we can talk about physical literacy, and then physical literacy will be a household thing. So with that note, thank you so much, Mr. Gaurav.
Thank you, Ashish. Thank you for suggesting us to start a certificate course. We're definitely going to put this matter forward. Next, we have Dr. KK Sahu. Dr. Sahu is a professor of mine. He taught me when I was in a bachelor's degree, and I always say whatever I am today is because of my teachers, and he is one of them. Sir, welcome to this panel discussion.
Thank you, Dr. Gaurav.
Sir, to start with, you are teaching in one of the reputed and finest institute of physical education in India, where we have passed out. We are the alumni of it. I want to know how we can improve the physical literacy and include the physical literacy and physical education in curriculum of other colleges. Apart of physical education as a subject in like BP and MPED, how we can inculcate in other subjects.
Thank you, Dr. Gaurav, and thank you to Bharati Vidyapeeth for giving me the opportunity to talk about physical literacy and physical education at college level. First of all, I would like to share my experience. When I joined LNIP in 1993 as a student, I went with a lot of misconception regarding physical education. And in first week, I was given all the information regarding physical education, what all physical education is all about. I understood, but what about all those who are not involved in physical education? As a student, as a teacher, they don't know about physical education. They are not aware about physical literacy. And that is a big chunk. We are confined to just physical education teachers. We are confined to just a part of physical education students. We have failed to incorporate, or we have failed to make the large number of people to know what is physical education, what is physical literacy. It is time. As a college, as a university, we need to start giving emphasis about physical literacy. As rightly mentioned by Nigel Green and Ashish, physical literacy has to be broad-based, and physical literacy has to be given to each and every student. I'm very happy that new education policy has made some changes and have suggested that physical education should be now core subject. They have emphasized, but every time policy are made, every time new regulations come, but when it comes to implement, we fail. As a college teacher, I think that we need to work on three basic things. First of all, we need to have basic requirement. We need to have facilities. Second is we need to develop quality physical education. I always admire the UNESCO guidelines, but we fail to do that. If you go to UNESCO guideline, they have clearly mentioned about quality physical education. But do you think that we have achieved? I think we have achieved just 5%. If we just stick to UNESCO guidelines about quality physical education, we'll be satisfied. We have never talked about quality physical education, teacher education. Being Premier Institute LNIP, I admire and I admit that yes, we have failed. We need to do a lot of things. Here, we need to work as a team. In India, at present state, physical education has got a lot of nomenclature. Somewhere we call BPEd, BP, BSc. We need to have some consensus. We need to have some impact-oriented physical education and sport policy, which need to be developed with the common effort by all the sport administrators, by politicians, intergovernmental, government organization, private sector, public sector. We all need to come together. All the education, physical education institute in India, of higher education, because unless and until we are providing good teachers of physical education, I don't think physical education at school level will survive. So now it is our responsibility to think about preparing quality physical education teachers. And for that, we need to work together. We need to have uniform curriculum. We need to have a curriculum, a program structure which suit our community, as rightly mentioned by Ashish. We don't have to take from other country and just put in our syllabus. We need to understand, as rightly mentioned by Purela Gopichand sir, that whatever scheme is possible at Jammu cannot be possible at Kerala. Everywhere, everything change, need change, requirement change. And we, as a physical education institute, need to change. We need to change, and we need to understand the need and requirement of physical education. Ashish has mentioned that 15 years back, whatever he has learned is again continuing. Yes, we need to change a lot. We need to change our curriculum. We need to emphasize on research. We need to structure our research. We need to take care of, we have to take care of interdisciplinary approach. We should not confine our physical education to just physical education people. Our program structure, our faculty, syllabus, curriculum, we need to make it more flexible. It should strive for more creativity, more innovative. We need to outreach our program. As I mentioned that we have just confined to physical education institute and physical education students. We need to outreach our program. We need to reach to mass. Then only the objective of physical literacy will be achieved. So as a college, as a university, we need to do a lot of things for structuring of physical education. We need to restructure physical education on the basis of requirement, on the basis of need.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I would like to bring something in our attention here. When the COVID hit India, or matter of fact across the globe, the first teacher was laid off by school was physical education teacher.
Yeah.
Which was quite painful, because the individual has given his whole life just teaching, learning physical education, and when society needed it most, when the school needed physical education as a subject most, they laid it off.
Right.
So this was a lacuna in current practices. So what do you think? What current practices should be followed by universities and colleges, so this thing won't happen, again, if this kind of thing happens again?
Yeah, as I mentioned that quality physical education, because physical education has got all the arms and ammunition which is going to resolve all the issues. And what we need to do is we need to indulge, or we need to involve each and every one. We need to involve parents. We need to involve other teachers and coaches. We need to take care of elder people. We need to involve medical and paramedical professionals. We need to involve other academic institutions, central and local government, other academies like Amit Malik sir is representing academy. We need to involve them. Then only we are able to understand what is required. Because at present situation, do we realize the physical education? No. If you just match with UNESCO charter, as I mentioned, we have just doing 5%. We need to have more. We need to restructure our program, and also we need to involve politicians because they are the leaders. And as a new education policy has mentioned, the innovative thinking, problem solving, creativity, critical, we understand, but in our education system, it is missing. Our content is more, but the practice is less. That has been realized by new education policy also. Physical education, or if you say quality physical education, will provide this distinct opportunity. That is going to help to develop more skills, which is for life skill. That is going to, like as mentioned by my earlier speakers, that physical education or physical literacy is not only about physical. We need to realize that it is more than that. So as a policymaker, we need to understand the need of our, and we need to understand, or we need to emphasize that all the administrators, all the person who are involved in physical or education program or education system, they need to develop a proper curriculum. They need to do a lot of research on area-based or need-based program. That is going to happen, and that will I say eradicate the lacunas which we see in today's scenario. The origin has to be seen. Yeah, Dr. Gaurav.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you for your input. Next, we have Mr. Amit Malik. So basically, we have, when it comes to physical education, we have three stakeholders: school, colleges, and society. So Amit Malik, I believe you are very well outspoken about physical literacy, and you are advocating it a lot recently. I wanted to know your input towards how to, when it comes to Indian scenario, Indian society, how to make people understand about the need of physical literacy.
Thanks, Gaurav. First of all, inviting all of us to share whatever limited we know on this subject, because we are also learning on the journey. For this society part, if you get a chance to read the text written on this subject, two wonderful books have been written by Margaret Whitehead. And it clearly says that physical literacy is for life and for everyone. And what we are as a country, we proudly say we are the Indians. So we are citizens of the country. So when we are all citizens and physical literacy is for everyone, there's no need to specify that physical literacy should be for school and colleges only. If you value our citizens, if you really believe that each citizen can flourish in their life, can reach their potential, then by design it is for everyone. I'll use a simple word that is our body a car, a machine, or we are a body? Do I have a body like a car which needs servicing of 1 hour? I go and oil it and come back, or am I a body? So physical literacy is I am a body actually. At every activity which I have done in my life till now, every experience which I got in my life has a physical component into it. Look at as simple as that, how a child learns hot and cold. If I write to him 99 degrees Celsius plus is what, 38 degrees Celsius plus is your hot and cold, it doesn't work. Only thing that when somebody experiences what is hot water, cold water, is physical is there. How do I know Gaurav is taller or maybe smaller than me? By looking physically. So whatever feeling we have got, whatever cognitive domains we have developed throughout our life, every single experience has a physical component in our experience. Now, as a citizens, we have a choice. This physical literacy journey is still happening with us. Like life, it is happening. But do we want to take a direction and make it more meaningful is the only opportunity. So I visualize physical literacy to be every part of the planning and thinking which impacts citizens at large. It has to be school, colleges, health department. It can be urban development, rural department. Anything which impacts citizens need to consider physical literacy as a potential opportunity so that these citizens are active for life.
As we were talking earlier also with you, if you remember, we talked about Hello India concept. We talked about school games. And then you have a very beautiful input about it. And I believe everyone wants to listen to that too. Can you elaborate that here, please?
So I would summarize the way I look at that. Sports is moving more from playroom to drawing rooms. This is the way my summarization would be. Sports used to be in playrooms. We used to go out, play without rules, with the referee. It doesn't matter. We were playing. That was the most important thing. Now sports has become drawing room. It is discussed more. Who won, what was the science into it, what was the score, what is rating, who is world number one. So we have maximum viewership of Olympics in country, but maximum sedentary population. So I personally feel that sports has become maybe more objectified, glorification, whatever has happened. But it is very clear that we are just creating more and more fans, but we need to create more participants. It's very simple. Whether you watch IPL, doesn't matter. You play cricket half an hour, enjoy yourself, more important. Because it impacts you, it impacts my society at large. So, and the transition possible is that only. And that's how when we look at the industry growth, this year we have 7 Olympic medals. Each Olympic medalist will get 100 crores. But does it lead to, say, even 70,000 children playing more? I don't have answers. So this linking of sports games to physical activity across the world, there's no linkage. And the reason is that in a country like India, if I looked at data very objectively, we are suppose 1.5 crore taxpayers. To play them any Olympic sports, the minimum cost will be, if you take Hello India data, would be say $10,000. So how many people can afford Olympic sports? 3 million Indians. And we want to create sports culture for 3 million Indians. I am proposing, let's get away with the sports culture. Let's bring a movement culture. As Ashish said, father can go to temple, mother can enjoy yoga, they can do gardening, they can play with children. Let everyone move. Let's promote the word movement culture, because that is sustainable. That is relatable to each society. Each society can choose a movement which they enjoy more. Yeah, so this is my summary from it needs to go to playroom again and get away from the drawing room of sports room.
So, Amit, in regards to what you have said, I want to share one instance. So being a physical educator, sports person, I told my daughter, I'll put you in every sports you want to play. Anything, choose one. And she said, I want to dance. And then I realized, and I was in touch with you guys and I have done IPA course, I realized that also this is a part of physical literacy. She might not want to be a player, but at least she's having some movements, spending 1 hour daily in dance class, right? So I can relate how Nigel, Ashish, Sausar, and you have put up a physical literacy roadmap, and I believe society is something to be educated. Coming back to Ashish, so very last question and very quick response because of time. Tell me a couple of corrective steps for the inclusion of physical literacy in school. And I'll ask the same question with everyone, even Nigel, you too, in the end, summarizing everything. Yes, Ashish.
See, I think it is very important to be educated. To be educated educated in terms of all the stakeholders that are involved in this process. So now you think school being the center of it, who are the stakeholders? The teachers, the students, the didis bhaiya that are working there, the parents, and the society around in that, say about 1 kilometers and 2 kilometers. So for me, being a school, it is my moral responsibility to at least think about these people. If I educate them about what physical literacy is, can I organize, rather than saying that I am organizing one football championship that will cost me 50,000 rupees for getting, can I organize a campaign where I involve my students, my teachers, my didi bhaiyas, and the community and spend that 50,000? Look at the number of involvement that day. Secondly, don't, as Nigel correctly said, don't look at from a medal perspective. Think it from the process perspective. When I make a school team, which is an important thing, when I make a school team, what I'm doing is not selecting 100, 250 kids to represent my school. I am eliminating the chances of 1,750 students of not being active. What kind of experiences that child is having? That child is having a negative experience. Then he will not play any particular sport for his life. And that's what I don't want to do. I want to educate. I want the child to enjoy that process. And sport should be a tool to make them physically active. And that is the complete approach that I would say, a physical literacy approach that has to be adopted by each and every school. And my advice to everyone would be that now the time has gone, a lot of people have already reached to the university level. So now it is the right time, even if the lesson planning system that we do, if we tell them of how to approach and how to teach the youngsters when they go back, because now Gaurav and me will agree that we were the student of Sahu sir when we were doing our bachelor's. 90% of the students that Sahu sir had are in schools and 10% of them are in higher education. So what is the approach? So 90% of them are going to schools. So if we don't treat them well, it will land up into the generations to be into a wrong path. So I think we need to be focused more on 90% and less on 10%. 10% will eventually grow because they have interest in that schools. So that will be my focus. So work on the lower side of the pyramid and not on the top side of it.
Thank you, Ashish, for your input. Next, Nigel, I'll be taking your views in the end when to sum up everything. Thank you. Sahu sir, tell me how a corrective step at university level. One corrective step that will suffice.
I think being a physical education professional, we need to provide, like as rightly mentioned by Ashish, we need to provide quality physical education teachers who can work at school. We must emphasize on 90%, as rightly mentioned by Ashish. So, and Ashish, recently we have made a syllabus in which we are making syllabus for all categories, so that teachers, they will be working for elementary, they will be doing some other work. The teachers who are aspiring for higher education, they will be learning something more. And the teachers for TGT level, PGT level, primary level, elementary level, we have made syllabus so that the need of students can be catered. So as a teacher education supply management, I want that my teacher should be best and they should go and provide good physical literacy and physical education at a school level. And definitely I accept what suggestion Ashish has given, that yes, we need to cater the 90% the need, which is 90%, and 10% they can go on their own.
Thank you, sir. Well, 10% also need your support anyway.
Yes, they will.
Thank you. Amit, suggestions, best practices for society as a whole.
So I would rather look at very easily three ways I look at. First is a P called purpose. Second is P called the process. Third P is progression. If we look at the purpose, that each human is a holistic well-being and we need to value that and also build their value for that existence, then it doesn't matter whether I look at school education. I'm doing a pilot with a pediatrician whom I'm requesting that he or she should write exercise for the children when they come for the vaccinations. But model still remains the same. Purpose is that every child's lifelong activity is important. You find a process which Ashish Sauser said it has to be engaging for the child. The teacher could provide that experience to the process. So everyone want more and more physical activities internally. And third is a progression, where if possible, we need to move away from the word called talent identification and look at the journey progression of each individual. That each person is moving. Maybe I'm disabled, I'm sitting on a wheelchair, but I'm making some progression in my journey. So these 3P I would summarize: purpose, process, and progression.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Malik. Last but not least, Nigel, I really need your input on everything. It's better if you sum up whole discussion of your own. Thank you.
Yeah, this has been fabulous. And I'd just like to pick up 4 points that have arisen from the presenters. And it's been really good to get this variety of different opinions from different people, which is great. First of all, on COVID, we know it's had a massive impact. But around the world, there were 3 priorities: food, medicine, and physical activity. Now, if our schools have that as a priority, physical activity is going to be the main priority. And we know the people who are healthier have had more positive outcomes if they've had COVID than those who aren't healthier. So from that's the first point. Secondly, I am aware of a number of the initiatives that have been made in India more recently, because I've been fortunate to have been coming to India for the last 6 years. And things like Fit India, Kilo India, unfortunately for me, have had a focus on fitness and measuring fitness and seeing an individual as a fit body. And as long as we train that fit body, like putting a hamster in a hamster wheel, let's keep that hamster fit, and that's all that's important. Well, I'm sorry, that doesn't work. We've got to look at the holistic development of individuals through physical activity. We've got to allow individuals to flourish. That comes on to my third point about the quality experiences we have at school. I did observe a lesson on kabaddi in a government school, and the lesson involved the children running around for a while, doing a few stretches, the boys marking out a kabaddi court, the girls playing about 10 minutes of kabaddi, and that was the end of the lesson. And you've got to ask, how is this developing the individuals there? How are they all involved? And therefore, I really appreciated Dr. Sahu's honesty there, saying we've not got it right. And as has been mentioned, a lot of countries in the world haven't got it right. We've got to train the teachers. We've got to work together with the best practices, the best people. And we've got to allow teachers to develop and understand how they can create those positive experiences. Now, at the moment at the IPLA, we're working with Agashi College on developing a course for a range of people at sort of university level that would be useful for teachers, but it's not necessarily at that academic level. It doesn't have to be at that academic level. At a level that practicing teachers can understand and apply. And I think if we can make changes that way throughout India, that's where the impact will happen. Getting teachers, parents to understand the concept, sports coaches to understand the concept, and then create more positive environments and more positive experiences for everyone. And that will motivate them to be active for life. So I'll leave it at that unless there are any more questions, but I thank you for your time in organizing this, and I'm sure we'll continue to talk and develop this as the years go on.
Thank you, Nigel. And when you talk about, we'll continue to talk. I'll invite the team IPLA to Bharati Vidyapeeth University for further collaboration, and we'll see what we can do together.
Yeah, IPLA always look to collaborate and work and support with anyone who wants to promote physical literacy. So universities are the ideal place because we know training of teachers, and that's what needs to happen. We need to be positive making those steps, and that then we help inform the practice with the politicians and the impact then on schools and on children. So yeah, very much happy to do that.
Thank you, Nigel. Thank you. Now I'll hand over the mic to Mahajan Madam for further.
Yeah, thank you all panelists. It is not over till it is over. I believe in this. So I would like to conclude this knowledgeable and inspiring events with the special thanks to all of you. For this, I am inviting Dr. Anthony Rose, who is the controller of examiner, Bharati Vidyapeeth deemed to be university. I am inviting him for the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everybody. And, I think it's a pleasure to be here as part of this entire panel discussion, which is being organized by the host institutions, especially the Bharati Vidyapeeth deemed university. First of all, many thanks to the Honorable Secretary of this great institution, also the Vice Chancellor, Dr. Monica Solanki, who was there in the first half of the session today, and did impart some of his valuable insights on this great topic of discussion. We also have Dr. S. Patil, who was our earlier Vice Chancellor of this university, who has left some impression regarding his thought about the role of nutrition, sports, and exercise, especially in this daunting challenge faced by the world of these kind of diseases impacting upon every individual over here. I also thank Dr. Kirti Mahajan, who's been championing this entire this entire project, which is being sanctioned by the European Commission to this university, as well as to all the host universities in India, Sri Lanka, and also Indonesia. And I think that's been to drive the awareness levels very high, especially in this part of the country. I also thank the registrar and all the other officials of the university for a commendable job. I think there were 2 panel discussions, and thanks and gratitude cannot be in silence. And so many thanks to the contributors of the first panel discussion, that was Dr. Gitanjali Gude, Colonel Dr. Srinivas Rao, Dr. Sachin Bakre, as well as our own Dr. Netaji Jadhav, who were part of the first panel, moderated by Dr. Kirti Mahajan again. So many thanks to all the panelists, and thanks to bringing to the fore lots of insights to be able to see how nutrition and sports possibly can make a difference, to the lives of individuals. Fortunately, I've been able to be a part of this second panel discussion. So I've heard all of you, and I've been so happy. And for me, it was those 15 minutes of, we can say 15 insightful minutes of my life. Though I'm also a big fan of sports, or being, as Mr. Amit said, it's a Mormon culture. So I embrace that Mormon culture a lot, and I keep advocating to anybody. So I've been taken up by those insights put up by Mr. Nigel from the IPLA, Mr. Ashish and Mr. Amit, and not last but not the least, Dr. Saud, who has been a role model, who has been an inspiration to both of you, Ashish, as well as the moderator and my colleague, Dr. Gaurav Pant. So many thanks. I mean, it's brought very meaningful insights as to what an individual can do for improving their lives, or maybe their lifestyle. Because what I believe on this topic that was put up today about how can this non-communicable diseases be what you can say avoided or not? You can't eliminate them. How can they be mitigated, or how can they be reduced? So I think these two topics of discussion has been very impactful. I'm sure the viewers, the participants who've been listening to this sessions must have something to take back from this session altogether. It's been very impactful because though COVID has been there in the last 2 years in the limelight, you can see, but those four major diseases like the heart disease, cancer, or maybe even what you can see, respiratory diseases are huge. Diabetes, especially diabetes, are huge, and these have come up simply because of our lifestyles. And the second panel discussions which I heard, I think addresses the grassroots. That's it. I mean, the strategy and the solution was clearly communicated in the second panel discussion. So I really thank the panelists for bringing to the table such simple yet effective, what you could say, solutions to be able to make a difference at 3 levels, not just at the individual level, also at the institutional level, and the third at the policy or the governmental level, at the policy level. So I think many thanks for bringing this. So wonderful, Gaurav, again, for putting and articulating the whole panel discussion and bringing such great panelists for discussion. So I really thank everyone, or even the participants. I'm sure you must have been interested by those wonderful 1.5 hour of the time you must have spent over here, and I'm sure they are going to be very valuable time over here. So so I also thank Dr. Mr. Purela Govichan, I think, who is also part of this entire discussion. For being here, for being an inspiration to this country at their levels. So I think before we part, I'm reminded of a great quote by Albert Einstein, which said that the world will not be destroyed by the evil, but by those who watch and do nothing about it. And I'm sure this entire panelists and the entire topic of discussion itself was one movement towards trying to see how we can make a difference in this world, how we can make a difference into an individual who might contribute. Because if you make a difference in this individual, if you reduce the premature deaths, I'm sure that individual will contribute a lot positively to the economy for every country. I'm sure about it. So again, as I wrap this up on a parting note, I would say that we are called not to do great things, but we are definitely called to do smaller things in a very great way. So thank you, everyone, and I thank everybody who's been part of this organizing team.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay. Also, I want to add something in this. I would like to offer a profound thanks and congratulations to our partners from Lisbon, Cyprus, Portugal, Spain, India, Indonesia, and Sri Lanka for their key contribution and participation in this event. Special thanks to Dr. Suresh Mani from Delhi Professional University, Mr. Shashin Singh, our counterpart of this project, Mrs. Tanuja from Sri Lanka, Mr. Walter from the Sri Lanka, Professor Dr. Dina from Indonesia, Professor Hizar Safi from the Indonesia, and Professor Anna also from Indonesia. All the Asian partners for congratulate them for their contribution and support in all the way. This event is the beginning for a new mission. And I trust that these panel discussions have enriched all of us with useful information, which we can implement in our respective countries. The everlasting benefits that we gather today are the platform for our upcoming forums. I would now request those who are online to go offline or log off. See you again. Be healthy, be safe. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for your time. Enjoyed that.
Thank you. Thank you,
Free time.
Najib.
Thank you, Nigel.
Appreciated, and we must discuss. And I know Amit,